Hi, my name is Noah Durr, and I am doing a video recap summary on Chapter 6, Proteins, in Wardlaw's Contemporary Nutrition, 10th edition. Alright, so this chapter was jam-packed with a lot of solid information on proteins that a lot of people should know in order to balance out their diet and know how to use proteins wisely. So let's jump right in. Proteins. Protein, the definition is food and body compounds made of amino acids. Proteins contain carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and sometimes other atoms in a specific configuration. Proteins contain the form of nitrogen, most easily used by the human body. So, proteins are essential for amino acids and are the building blocks of them. And they're very essential to maintaining health. So, they give people energy and help them to function in everyday life. Let's look at why proteins are important. Proteins form many important structures in the body, make up a key part of the blood, and help regulate many body functions and can fuel body cells. This chapter takes a close look at protein, including the benefits of plant proteins and a diet. It also will examine the potential risks and benefits of vegetarian diets. So, it mentions plant proteins and that you have to know how to use them because not all plant proteins are created equal. So, there's going to be some plant proteins that have mostly all of the essential amino acids and nutrients, but there's going to be some plant proteins that are going to be lacking in that, and an individual has to be aware of that in order to balance out their proteins wisely. Chapter also talks about, like I said, their essential amino acids versus non-essential amino acids. Non-essential amino acids are amino acids that can be synthesized by a healthy body in sufficient amounts. There are 11 non-essential amino acids. These are called dispensable amino acids. And the essential amino acids, the amino acids that cannot be synthesized by humans in sufficient amounts or at all, and therefore must be included in the diet. There are 9 essential amino acids. These are called indispensable amino acids. Alright. The chapter also talks about protein synthesis and the breakdowns of proteins and the organization of it. And it also talks about sickle cell disease, which is an example of what happens when amino acids are out of order on a protein. Sickle cell disease, its definition is an illness that results from a malformation of a red blood cell because an incorrect structure in part of its hemoglobin protein chains. So, it's pretty much incorrect structure, so it's not where it should be, which can cause sickle cell disease and cause complications with that. The chapter also talks about protein in foods and that Americans usually don't have a problem with eating enough protein because, we love our meat. Your cheeseburgers, your ribs, your brisket, it's all good. But we do have to be careful about, eating over excessive amounts of meat. Because sometimes, we can eat too much red meat, and that can be bad for us as well. So we have to monitor our meat intake and make sure, go by the old tale of eating protein like the size of your fist and not like too much bigger, because that's really like all you need in a meal. Because it does say for decades about 70% of the protein we eat has come from animal sources. So that's, your red meat and all that. But plant sources are becoming more popular and, should be utilized in people's diets in order to get, other essential vitamins and minerals that animal proteins can't offer. So, protein quality in foods. There's foods that offer a high quality of complete proteins and a lower quality of incomplete proteins. So you want to maximize your protein by eating, good protein foods. Like, canned tuna has a lot of good protein to it. And, broiled chicken and roast beef, which, are good proteins. Also, the chapter went on to talk about protein digestion and how it, starts in cooking the food and goes from digestion to absorption and then goes through your intestines and all that. Then proteins in the body. Proteins produce vital body structures. They help with your muscles and recovery with that, especially for athletes. Is essential. If you're lifting weights, like you need to eat protein. You need to, take some protein shakes so your muscles can recover and come back stronger. And protein can maintain fluid balance, contribute to acid-base balance, form hormones and enzymes, contribute to immune function, form glucose, and provide energy for a person trying to maintain their weight. And it also says if you're like really sick, you need to, increase your amount of protein. It also talks about how protein, promotes satiety. So, it's pretty much what makes you feel full. So, usually protein and foods like meat is pretty heavy, so after you eat it, you're not that hungry. So you usually are filled up, which is pretty good. Like it says, you shouldn't eat an excess of protein. I mean, we Americans do, but you shouldn't go out and eat like 10 cheeseburgers because that would really mess you up. And you should also be aware of the protein calorie malnutrition. So you can develop diseases from the lack of proteins, which include kwashiorkor and marasmus, which mostly happen in underdeveloped countries, such as, Ghana and possibly Africa. So the main thing is just be careful about eating your proteins. Try not to eat them in excess, but try to get enough that your body will thank you for that. And just be aware that not all proteins are created equal, and you need protein in a healthy diet. Thanks.